Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sentinel's Entertainment Extra. I kind of froze there for a second. Entertainment Extra Beyond the Gates weekly recap for Christmas week. The Beyond the Gates producers packed a lot in to 3 days this week. Of course, the show only had episodes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week because of the holiday. A lot of people don't watch on Christmas or on the day after. They're doing things, so the networks don't have new shows. So they had 3 days this week. I'll tell you what. They packed a lot in 3 days. I didn't get to watch Wednesday's show until night because I was at my sister's house for Christmas Eve. But I thought they did a great job with Christmas. I think they did a better job with Christmas than they did with Thanksgiving, they're okay with Thanksgiving, but they did a better job with Christmas than they did with Winterfest. So, but to recap what went on, Anita, she diagnosed with cancer. She told Vernon, and Vernon was of course very upset. He was kind of disappointed that she didn't tell him, that she hid that there was a possibility she had cancer for a while, and he was kind of disappointed in that. But aside from that, he's very supportive. She told him they did not want to tell the kids or the family until after the holidays. They didn't. Ted told Nicole, I believe it was on Monday, that Vernon was having an affair. And he told her that he got the information from Leslie, and he told her that he saw what Leslie saw. So, of course, Nicole was horrible to Ted because that's what Nicole does. She's horrible to people, and then she acts like nobody should be mad at her. But she was terrible to Ted. And then what does she do? She runs right over and tells Dani. If she didn't believe it, why'd she run right over and tell Dani? Of course, Dani laughed. And, they ended, Dani laughed, and she's like, that's crazy. And then when she told her that it came from Dani, or from Dana, she laughed even more. But then they thought about it, and they said, they've been acting strange. So they were, thinking, God, maybe it's true. Then they, Smitty and Martin had their Christmas decorating, and, with the kids, Samantha and Terrell, and they invited Ted, and Eva came, and of course, Kat had to show up. Even though she was invited other places, she had to show up, and she had to be a snob talking to Samantha about going to, I don't know what the hell it's called, the debutante ball or whatever, her arrival in society. And she, she had to talk about it just to be a bitch, See, honestly, she had to be a bitch in front of Eva and flaunt that she had, her party. And who cares? Kat is such a witch. I'm so over Kat. I wouldn't care if they wrote Kat off tomorrow. I mean, they're not going to, but I wouldn't mind if they wrote her off tomorrow. She's just she's not a nice person. She's a rotten person. But of course, soap operas do need these people that you don't like. And she's definitely one of them. But what was great was, June came over, and Terrell said that Terrell told her that he forgave her for what happened when they were kids. And it was a very nice moment, you know. It was. And then Smitty surprised them even further. Remember, Smitty was very not sure about the kids seeing June even. He didn't want to lose them. He didn't want them to lose the kids to June, you know. So he was very not sure. But he surprised everyone when someone came to the door and he had, I think it was balloons in front of their face. And then he surprised them and they opened the door and it was June's sister. The kids had not seen June's sister since they were put into foster care. They were so happy to see her. June was so happy to see her sister. And it was just such a good moment in the show. I mean, this is a storyline that is real. You know, it's a real storyline. And these things happen in real life, in everyday life. And it was, I think the producers, this storyline probably is my favorite storyline since the show came on 10 months ago. That, you know, this woman who was down and out, living under a bridge, has, you know, gotten her life back, working as a waitress now, and her kids that were taken away, she gets to be around them again. She gets to be in their lives, you know, and it's just a really, really good storyline. And, you know, Terrell and Samantha are just, you know, they're likable kids. They're good characters. I hope if Terrell goes to college, he doesn't leave. They don't write him off the show. I would be disappointed in that because he's a good character. And Samantha, I think she's like a sophomore, so she's got a couple years to go. You know, I really like that storyline. I really enjoyed the, you know, June getting back with her kids, you know, and so that was nice. And then, you know, we go to the Dupree's on Christmas, and everything's good. But of course, you know, when Nicole shows up, Nicole has to be like, Kat. We wonder where Kat gets it from. Well, we know where Kat gets it from. Kat gets it from Nicole, who thinks she's the center of the universe. And, you know, hopefully at some point, maybe if Nicole leaves the show or they write her off or something, Nicole can expose herself for admitting that she only does charity work to get recognition, because that's what she does. Let's face it. She brags about it all the damn time. Okay, she does. But she goes way overboard here and starts insulting Sharon basically from the second she gets there. She starts insulting her from basically the second she gets there. And you know, to me, it's like, wow, you're just a witch. And she is a witch. Okay, let's face it, she's a witch. And she's never wrong. No, just like Kat. She just starts insulting Sharon, saying things to her. And then she looks like a fool later. Because, you know, it's funny how she believed the story, but she totally made Ted feel like crap when he told her. Isn't that something? But she'll never admit to Ted that she believed it. You know, I'm not she's going to go to Ted. I'm sure she's going to, next time she sees Ted, she's going to say, you are terrible, saying these horrible things about my dad. You know, well, that you ended up believing and making a fool of yourself. I'm just not a fan of Nicole. I just don't like what a snob she is. Dani's totally the opposite. And what it shows is that siblings can be different. And they're writing this very well. Siblings can be completely different. And, you know, and I hope Ted doesn't get back with Nicole now. I hope they don't. I want Ted to end up with Shanice. I like Shanice. You know, I want Ted to end up with Shanice. I'm sure Leslie's going to try to kill her. You know, and I don't think Shanice is even a contract player. So, you know, it would be easy to kill her off. I hope they don't, though, because she kind of holds that whole hospital thing together. You know what I mean? So, so, you know, at the Dupree's, the Christmas is, you know, is going well. Nicole and Dani, Nicole convinces Dani that they need to tell Anita. They need to tell her. She needs to know. She needs to know. Yeah, that's the last thing she needs to know right now. But so, you know, Nicole wants to tell her because, you know, Nicole is always right and she's got to get her way. So they're all ready to tell her. And Vernon starts playing the piano. And Anita is like, what is that man doing? You know, she's like, you know, has he lost his mind? What is he doing? And she goes in there and he starts singing. And he sings her songs. It was the greatest moment of the show so far. Let's be honest. If you've watched this show since February, it was the best moment of the show. And soap operas, you know, we watch all year and there's drama and there's all kinds of things going on. But it was a great moment. I think Beyond the Gates really knows how to celebrate Christmas. And Ava spent some time with Leslie, and then she spent time with Isaiah. That was great. Haley, of course, was a witch with Bill, but especially when she found out the house in St. Bart's was not going to be theirs. So now she's got to reformulate her whole plan to kill Bill. But so Vernon sings the songs. And then he says, the secret is finally revealed that we've been wondering about for a couple months with him and Sharon. And it turns out, and I knew it was something like this. I didn't think the writers were dumb and were going to screw up Vernon and Anita. So it turns out that Vernon was going to Sharon's to learn how to play the piano and how to sing. And that's what it was. So Nicole owes Sharon an apology, but of course she will not apologize ever because Nicole is a witch. But you know, it was great the look on Nicole's face, the witch. You know, I'm glad that it ended up that way. Like I said, for weeks, I would have been really disappointed if these writers decided to have Vernon having an affair. I would have been really mad. I mean, sometime in the future, we might find out that Vernon had an affair 25 years ago when a kid shows up in Fairmount Crest. Because the fact that the Duprees only have 2 kids, that's not very many for a soap opera, for the main family. So there might be something out there somewhere, you know. But a moment that is going to cause problems and waves for the foreseeable future, and which might eventually get Leslie like thrown in jail or even killed or something, is she saw Shanice going into Ted's apartment or a hotel. And in Leslie's mind, Ted is her man. And she already don't like Shanice because Shanice knows what kind of person she is. So now she's really going to hate Shanice. And don't be surprised if Shanice has an accident. Yeah. And that's when Leslie will be exposed, because she will not think clearly and she will do something to Shanice. And then they're going to put everything together. They're going to find out that she had Nicole's secretary run off the road in the second episode of the show. She's going to find out, or they're going to find out. They're going to expose her. She's going to get exposed. And I can't wait till that happens. I mean, she is good comic relief sometimes, but she is awfully mean. Like, she's really mean to Shanice. She's really mean. And she was really, really, this is what did it for me, how mean she was to Samantha at Orphe Jean's. And she was mean to June. Seriously? June is what you used to be. And you're still no better. You just have money now. So when she treated Samantha bad, that is where I had enough of Leslie. So, next week there's going to be, from what I understand, there's only going to be 2 episodes, Monday and Tuesday next week. I'm pretty sure Monday and Tuesday. And then that's going to be it for the week. So we're going to try to that will have New Year's Eve on Beyond the Gates, and that they're going to pack it all into 2 days. They're going to pack a week into 2 days next week, and then we'll be back to normal after that. So it will be, it stinks when there's only a couple episodes. They will, it says here, they will likely air fewer than 5. From what I've heard, is there will be 2 days, I think. I believe Monday and Tuesday next week. And then that's it. And then they'll be back the following Monday with episodes. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But we'll be back next Friday with our weekly report. We'll recap, even if there's only a couple days. We'll spend some time recapping and reminiscing about the past year of the show. Our first 10 months together, watching the best soap opera on television, Beyond the Gates. How we all moved into Fairmount Crest in February, and we've been there 10 months now. That'll be next week. And I would like to see everybody here. I hope you enjoy what the show. We've started to build an audience. It would be great to continue to build an audience in the new year. But we will be back. This is our final show for 2025. Our first show of 2026 will be on Jan 2. I like abbreviating sometimes. January 2nd. Jan 2 will be our first show of the new of the new year. And I'm glad I interviewed your football. Someone on TikTok said I interviewed their football team. I'm glad. I love doing this stuff. I love doing the work I do, the TV show or the streaming, the covering sports, covering high school sports. I cover the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just love this. I enjoy this. And so I can't wait. I can't wait to see you next year with some more episodes here on the Lake County Sentinel Podcast Network. We're going to call it a network. Beyond the Gates on Fridays at 3. We have Cleveland Cavaliers weekly recap at 3 o'clock on Mondays when the Cavs don't have a game that night. Then I just do it right before the game. We had fantasy football on Tuesday night at 8, which fantasy football is winding down now, so that show's over. And then we have our NFL prediction show on Thursdays. That'll run through the Super Bowl with my co-host Chuck Kolchak. But I hope that everybody enjoys the rest of their holiday. It'll be a new year by this time next week. And I hope everybody enjoys their holiday. And I will see you next week. But remember, who knows? Maybe we'll see each other somewhere around Fairmount Crest.